Hello, party people. This is the Game Informer Show, and we're here to recap day 2 of E3. I'm your host, Ben Reeves. Joined with me today, I have Marcus Stewart.
Hey, hello, everybody.
Liana Rupert.
Did you forget my name?
No, I was trying to decide if I actually forgot Blake's name for a second, and I just moved on to the next person.
Beautiful.
Interesting.
Alex Stadnik.
Hello, friends. Good to be here.
And I don't remember our fourth guest, mystery person. Can you introduce yourself?
Hello, I'm Reagan, the dog's representative, Blake Hester.
That's right. It's a dog talking through Blake. This is, it's been a long weekend, as you can tell by intro, but these are a little bit fast and loose because we're just recapping all the stuff that's going on every day of the show at E3. It's day 2, as we already said, and today was a big day, possibly the biggest day of the show. We'll obviously see about that when the show is over, but we have a bunch of stuff to go over regarding the Microsoft presentation that happened, and then also we want to hit the Square presentation. So I think we should just jump right into it. You guys ready?
Yeah, let's do it. Right in there.
Yeah.
Reagan, are you ready? Yes, she's ready.
Okay, great. I didn't want to move forward without that. Okay from the dog. But yeah, Microsoft kicked off the conference, with something that would have, I think, been really, really exciting if it hadn't leaked just moments before. There was the Starfield trailer, which I was still excited to watch that trailer, even though I watched it like a half hour before the presentation. What did you guys think of Starfield? This is our first look, presumably. Beforehand, we got basically a logo.
Can you all answer me a question? Forgive my ignorance here. When they say like in-engine gameplay, like, it's not gameplay, but it's like it is like I was confused about like what we were actually seeing, because I think Avatar did that the game as well.
I mean, it's running in engine, which just means like this is what it will look like when you're playing the game. Like we're running it in the engine. It doesn't necessarily, gameplay doesn't necessarily mean it's like crazy action or anything. It could just be like, hey, this guy's walking around.
Yeah.
Well, the main thing I think there is they can cheat the camera.
Okay.
So they can give you something. They can get rid of the HUD. They can cheat the camera. They can kind of play some tricks to make it look a little bit nicer.
For sure.
Yeah.
Yeah.
But
yeah.
Regardless of that, I thought the game looked really cool. Like, I think Bethesda has a certain visual style for their games that look a little bit stiff, and it could be the camera tricks they were using, but I thought the game looked a little bit more detailed than we're used to with Bethesda games.
No more ugly Bethesda hands, hopefully. They can't do hands correctly at all to save their life.
So it's not just no one has hands. We evolved to the point where we reached out
just
to them.
nubs.
I'm going to play with a mod where they put in the stupid looking hands again.
Yowie hands. Get big ol' yowie hands.
Yeah, I think it looked fine. It was like I need to see a little bit more to get, because I'm mainly just excited for it because I'm a fan of Elder Scrolls and Fallout, and the idea of them doing a new IP for the first time in decades. And it was nice to see, like, to get an idea visually of what they're going for, but it still wasn't enough for me to go full on like, oh yeah, they're doing what I want, because the thing that I want from them from this game is it to be more than just Elder Scrolls or Fallout in space. And I don't know if this look convinced me that it's not that just yet. Not that I'll still play it if it winds up literally just being that, but I would just be less excited because pretty much the Outer Worlds is that, really, which we will talk about later. But yeah, it was nice to see it, but I'm still a little bit like, okay, cool. That's where I'm at.
Yeah.
I think the big news was it's coming out 11/11/22, which I was hoping it'd be this year. They did that with Fallout 4 when they announced it. They announced like, hey, it's coming out in 6 months.
That's right.
So I kind of half expected that it would be this year even. But
sure. But after this,
it's at least nice to know there's a date.
Yeah. I don't need any more games for this year. Like, Fall filled up in a big way now, and I'm like, I'm good. But yeah, I'm with Marcus.
Hey, yeah. Alex, don't tell Nintendo that you don't need any more games.
That's right.
They still haven't gone.
That's right.
Now we're never getting Metroid. Thanks, Alex.
Yeah. Everyone just play me.
Great. No, I'm excited. I think that's a very good point. I'm excited solely because I'm just excited to see something new from them. They've been using the same engine for freaking ever. The fact that they're using a different engine, Microsoft is pouring resources into to Bethesda with new engine creation or overhauling their total engine, and I think that's going to be really important here. And I think Starfield, if done correctly, can be kind of the new staple. Like we kind of talked about this in an earlier video of Halo kind of looking like it might be coming to a natural end with its campaign. And I feel like if Starfield does the way a lot of people are hoping it does, it could be potentially the next Xbox staple in terms of the space genre. And I feel like this, even though this was obviously like more cinematic in terms of the visual aesthetic, I feel like it was indicative that this could be a really open world type exploration, kind of bringing in the best parts of games like No Man's Sky and Fallout. And, you know, and as much as I love the Outer Worlds, even though some of the dialogue was a little stiff here and there, I feel like Bethesda bringing that back, I don't know. I'm really excited. I've only recently gotten into the sci-fi genre after like Mass Effect and I've always been a big fan of Halo, and I just want to see them do that magic of like Fallout 3 and Fallout 4 and really hone into their unique craftsmanship of narrative, but in space. I don't know. I'm hopeful, but I'm with you. I want to, before I get like all aboard the hype train, I want to see actual gameplay, because the cinematics for Fallout are also quite beautiful, and we know how that looks.
Yeah, we really didn't get to see like how conversations work, for example, or how the gameplay works, or really how anything works.
Yeah.
It's really just like a visual trailer, and it looks good.
Someone to turn around and zoom in on their face before they start talking.
100%.
Just like in real life.
Maybe QuakeCon though. QuakeCon, maybe we'll get like extended gameplay.
That's true. Yeah. Right around the corner. I think the one other thing just to mention is that they announced that it's exclusive to Xbox. So that's kind of a big get for Microsoft.
Yeah.
I mean, they purchased the company, so they must not have had any publishing deals locked down before the purchase happened, which is good for Microsoft.
Yeah.
So big get there.
Huge one for Game Pass.
And I was supposed to say Game Pass. That's a huge one.
Yeah.
And PC. Oh.
Next up, Microsoft showed Stalker 2, Heart of Chernobyl, which was an interesting trailer to watch. It was a little bit slower paced, I think, than I was expecting for that early in the show. There's a lot of like cutting back to people talking and sitting around a campfire. But gameplay could be fun.
And it ruled. Let's get into it, folks. This is one of the only trailers I cared about today.
Really?
I don't know what Stalker is. I never played the first one. But this game.
Are you a Metro guy?
No, not at all.
Really?
Never played those games. I just thought like this game. I am not super into. What's the way to put this that doesn't sound dumb and reductive? Like, there's only so much bombardment I can take from trailers that are very over the top, and there's just going on everywhere before it's just too much for me. I don't like. It's a sensory overload, but to see an extended trailer that like put emphasis on this is the atmosphere of the game. This is the story we want to tell. Here's a few bullets flying, whatever. Like, I thought it was really cool. And this game, like, I don't think its setting seems all that unique, but for a trailer at E3 to not be said in English was really interesting and really cool. And I thought I like that they doubled down on that. And like, no, you're reading subtitles during this, and focused on like what ostensibly they think makes this game special, which is that atmosphere, is that vibe they're trying to bring to this like post-apocalyptic, Eastern European world they've created, rather than here's a million guns and here's how they kill. I thought that was awesome. And I was super, super into this trailer, and like was pleasantly surprised to hop on Twitter at the time and see like a lot of love for an interesting take on a AAA trailer. Yeah, I was very, very, very into this trailer for sure.
I like that.
Are you going to go back and play Metro or the first Stalker now?
I really want to play the most recent Metro.
It's so good.
Yeah, it looked really cool. I want to play it on Series X or S. which I it's not a console I own currently, but maybe one day when I pick that up.
Yeah.
Yeah. And I don't have a PC to run it, so like it's just not something accessible to me right now. But yeah, I've been interested in those series for a while.
Well, you have until April of next year, because that's when Stalker 2 is coming out.
Yeah,
Stalker 2 Heart of Chernobyl. There's other news. We can kind of just blow through some of this, just give the highlights. But
for sure.
Back 4 Blood, we saw more of that. That's coming out October 12th. It's going to be on Game Pass. Yeah. We have a thing online that Jay Guisao wrote on the multiplayer, diving a little bit more into that. Specifically, you can play as the Ridden, which are the zombies in that world. So that looks cool. There's a new game called Contraband. It's a co-op open world game from Avalanche. I thought that game looked kind of cool. Mm-hmm. And then, surprisingly, they showed off a trailer for Sea of Thieves that actually got me interested in Sea of Thieves again.
Right?
And I don't mean that as a huge slight against Sea of Thieves, because I actually liked Sea of Thieves when it debuted. It's just like that game has not kept my attention at all. But in this game, they're releasing a story mode for Sea of Thieves that stars Jack Sparrow.
And
you love to see it.
It's like the plot of the second movie. Is it Dead Man's Chest? Because Davy Jones is there. He's yelling, Captain Jack Sparrow. Like, I don't know what's going on. I'm with it though.
Yeah, I have a question. Was that, and I assume this was the case for Kingdom Hearts 3, where that was like a sound-alike Johnny Depp, right? Like, you think that's the same sound-alike for this game?
I'm willing to bet it's the same VO actor, because the sound-alike for the Kingdom Hearts games was actually pretty spot on. So
yeah, I thought so too. I was like, oh, I wonder if it's the same guy. But yeah, that was one of the ones that perked my ears of like, I wasn't expecting this. But yeah, I haven't played Sea of Thieves since like launch month, and played it with a friend, bounced off it for the reasons a lot of people did. And I've been wanting to get back into it, but just haven't made the time. But this is the thing that made me go like, maybe it's time to finally get back in there.
Yeah.
You can pet pigs in this game. Sold.
As done as I am with Pirates of the Caribbean as a franchise, because I've argued that really the first movie is probably the only one that's legitimately great.
I like 3, but yeah.
I like 2 and 3 are fun, and then 4 and 5 I think are actively terrible. Yeah, you're not missing anything. So it's like I'm really done with Pirates, I think, but something about this maybe just the idea of sailing with him in an actual pirate simulator makes me excited.
Yeah. Sea of Thieves Sea of Thieves, I'll go quick, is a game that like my friends and I almost like probably once a month will play for one night, have the time of our lives in, and then completely drop it. And like it's just kind of the cadence where it's like every time I've played that game, I've had like not hyperbole either, like gut busting moments where we're just like crying, laughing by the end of it, and then we just drop it for a month or two on time, but then we pick it back up. So I'm with you, Marcus. I want to play this. Sorry, Blake, go ahead.
My friends and me last summer got really into Sea of Thieves, and I thought it was great. But then we stopped playing, and I, for a year now, have been like, yo, let's play Sea of Thieves. And they're like, no, we'd rather play games instead.
Are they Pirates
I know
of the
what you've been playing, too.
And so this trailer came out, and I was like, that's not really for me, but that's neat. But then my group chat blew up, and they're like, guys, we got to play Sea of Thieves. And I was like, yes, announcement of the night. That's it. Finally.
We just appreciate the turnaround this team did to that. Because remember when it came out and everybody was like, Kiss of Death, it's done. Rare should shut its doors for people were like very angry about this game when it launched. Ben, I'm with you. I actually liked the vanilla version. I just liked exploring. I had spent more time than I probably should have doing like sea shanties on the bow. It's just an enjoyable experience. I don't know. I'm a simple man. You give me a boat and open water and I'm enjoying and having a good time. And I love the fact that despite such a terrible reception, they didn't cave. They were like, okay, how can we fix this? And they did. They've come out with so many updates that just surprise and make the community super excited. And I don't think anybody saw this coming. So the fact that they're still pulling moves like this, like, nicely done.
Yeah,
nicely
way to go, Rare. I applaud them as well. Yeah, that's Sea of Thieves, A Pirate's Life. Comes out June 22nd. And it's free. It's a free update too. Just like I think all of their updates have been free. So that's awesome.
Sea of Thieves is free too. It's on Game Pass.
It's on Game Pass. You know what else is on Game Pass, Blake?
Resident Evil 5.
That may be true. I cannot confirm or deny. But Yakuza Like a Dragon is coming to Game Pass.
Today.
Yeah, the day we're recording this, day 2 of E3,
right.
which is awesome. Well, the day this is out, and possibly the day you're listening to it. So that's an awesome game. Play that game if you have not. We got another tease. We got another trailer basically for Battlefield 2042. We got a little bit of gameplay this time. That game comes out October 22nd. We've already talked about it a bunch, but I know Liana and Alex, you guys are pretty hot on this one.
Let's freaking go! Tornadoes, grapple hooks. You can shoot support class. We finally get some love, man. You can shoot somebody from across the map with a gun and heal them and revive them. How freaking cool is that? If somebody's on a sniper at the top of a skyscraper, you can harness the weapon of a tornado and knock them out of their perch. This stupid camping. I'm so excited for this. Like, when we first got our up close and personal demo that we have on the site, if anybody's interested with our preview, I'm a huge Medal of Honor fan, huge Battlefield fan. Battlefield has been the king of FPSs for so long. And I love the fact that they confronted the fact that they've really dropped off. It really sucked. The last couple of entries just did not feel like Battlefield. And I feel like the team got new talent to kind of reharness like what Battlefield means to the FPS community. They regrouped. They used that time wisely, like Ubisoft did with the Assassin's Creed franchise. And we are seeing the perfect hybrid of bringing back what people love about Battlefield: verticality, weapon variety, class allocation, high impact, high chaotic energy within a shooting arena. And they're bringing that, and then they're pairing it with things that we never thought we would see. Also, the vehicle variety is also beautiful. The fact that there's like 20 different kinds of vehicle types, and you've got your typical run and guns, you got your cannon tanks, you've got one specifically that's sole purpose is you just drop mines behind you, so you can kind of have snipers. I'm thinking strategically, have snipers kind of corner the enemy team into a location you want, and then just freaking lay into them with mines. I think that's cool. I'm chef's kiss, dice. You got your shit together, and I'm so happy.
And you were losing your mind, I think, too, Alex, right?
He's marking where I keep.
Yes, I was.
Is your mind totally lost right now?
I'm in the tornado right now. I can't get my bearings, right? I don't know what else I can add outside of that. I was a Battlefield fan through the bad companies in the first, I would say 3 to 4. I liked some of the vignettes and some of the stuff they did with 4 or with Battlefield 1, and then fell off like a lot of people did. This is everything I could want from a return to the series. I like that I finally get to see what the weapons are. They're not super futuristic, right? But like we'll be able to play with that space. I'm curious what other weapons we get, or what other weather we get, right? We've seen the tornado, but like there has to be more. There's got to be like a tsunami or like riding a lightning bolt, climbing it or something like that. Who knows?
Egypt has a huge dust storm.
Oh yeah, like the Mad Maxian vibes through that. So I think this is
maybe there'll be a sunny day gun.
The which one?
It's just really sunny.
Because,
I want.
Yeah.
Let's make the day nice.
Yeah, exactly. So
everyone's just hot.
Yeah.
The true strategy.
I'm uncomfortably warm. I'm sweating in my camo.
I love
That's
it.
Great.
So I'm all in. I'm excited. October is going to be insane for multiplayer games. But I am here for it. So
yeah, no joke. Cool. Moving on, we got another look at Psychonauts 2. I'm still excited for that game. We obviously did a big blowout just a month ago on our cover. We put Psychonauts 2. The game now has a release date, August 25th. So it's exciting to finally look forward to the release of that game. Then there was an announcement, a bunch of Bethesda stuff coming to Game Pass. There's more on that if you want to look up exactly what's coming online. There's kind of a lot to cover, so we'll move on from that. They showed off a game called Party Animals, which is coming out next year. I was sort of underwhelmed by this game. It looks like some kind of 4-player party game where everybody's an animal. Honestly, it looked like the kind of multiplayer game that did somebody owe somebody a favor? I'm kind of surprised they showed this on the stream.
It's because it's one of the top wish listed games on Steam right now. So I think this is actually a bigger like thing. I feel like they're positioning this as like the next Fall Guys, right? Or maybe like the next not Human Fall Flat, but like Gang Beasts, something that's like party driven, right? But I'm surprised at how much like hype is behind it, because I was like, oh, this just looks fun, but it's big on Steam, man. So I think this is a good.
And I don't
want to
insult the game itself. I mean, I basically am, but my point is, it just doesn't look impressive to me yet. And maybe it'll be awesome. Maybe it'll be a blast to play, and I hope it is. But yeah,
it looks cute. I was more surprised that the name Party Animals hadn't been taken yet.
yeah.
Fair.
Feels like eventually it should have been. Yeah,
I think there was a movie. Next up, Hades is coming to Game Pass. Hades is coming to console. I guess that's the news. Obviously, Microsoft didn't announce it during the press conference, but it's also coming to PS4 and PS5 on August 13th.
Got it.
Then it'll also be on Game Pass if you're so inclined. And if you haven't played that game yet, you should. It's great. It was our number 2 game of last year. I'm really curious about the next game they showed. It's a game called Somerville. It's from a new studio called Jump Ship.
Hell yeah, baby.
It gave me some Playdead vibes. I'm looking at it afterwards, and I'm like, guess what?
Yeah.
It's from one of the guys who worked at Playdead. He
guy who left.
Jumped ship, basically, and formed his own studio.
Yeah, this game was announced forever ago. And it's basically like the next in the lineage of the Playdead likes.
Has it been around for a while, Blake? This is my first time hearing of it.
Yeah. Like 2017, at least, if not a little earlier. Like, I think the studio has been around for a little while, and then I can't remember his name, but he was the co-founder and CEO of Playdead, joined in 2017.
Dino Patty.
Dino Patty, yeah. And then they announced this game, and I believe this was the first like real actual look at it, and it looks great. I'm super excited for it.
Yeah, we talked about it on the stream and then on our reactions too. It was a moment of I was like staring into the camera. I was like, I think this is Playdead, right? Like, this has to be. This looks so much like them. And then finding out about it later, it instantly boosted my hype, which I feel like it's becoming clearer now, because when Patty left, right, it seemed like, I think they said creative differences, right? So I'm curious even more so now what Playdead's game is going to be, because we've heard rumors of like open world, right? And, you know, this game Somerville seems much more in line with that Limbo Inside vibe, which I'm ecstatic for. I love it. So now it kind of
I wonder what the differences were, because this game doesn't look different. So
like, was he the one that was behind that style?
Yeah, right.
Like, he took it with him.
That's my curiosity. Yeah,
Playdead's next thing is going to be something totally different now.
Yeah,
I think the rumors are Playdead's new game is going to be a arena-based hero shooter.
Shut up.
That was the creative difference.
Alex is like, don't even joke.
Don't even go there. Yeah, one is a good idea, the other is not. That was the difference. Yeah.
Which one's the good idea?
Find out next time.
That's right. Well, speaking of shooters, they did show off the game that I think a lot of people were waiting to see, Halo Infinite. They clarified.
Oh, sorry.
Yeah. Which were you guys? I assume you were already excited about the game, but what did you guys think of what we saw?
It hit every bucket for me. I was excited to see what kind of progress 343 had made after its delay of the game, right? And I feel very strongly about that, even more so now that this was the right choice for them. They showed just enough of story and map design where it's like, you know, the lighting has been improved, the detail and textures have been improved from what we've seen, right? And the multiplayer looks like exactly what I want, just high flying chaos. They're bringing Valhalla back from Halo 3 better than ever. And just the mix of grappling hook with some of those new weapons, it looks so punchy and crisp. And I cannot wait. I think the only negative I had was I think it is very weird that we don't have a hard date for that yet. This seemed like the time to do it. And it's still holiday 2021. So I don't.
They said holiday. There are some rumors floating around that it could be December 9th, I believe.
Xbox Brazil.
November
Xbox
9th.
Brazil accidentally sent a tweet right after the showcase saying November 9th. But it could have been, Alex brought up a good point on our reaction, was it could have been a miscommunication, because that's when Forza comes out. And so they might have gotten like the dates mixed up. Because I've heard November 11th. And then I've heard like December, but I think I think it's going to be, if it's not a November date, I would be very surprised. Like, that just makes sense for Halo Infinite.
I wonder
it does
if they could
feel
get away
weird
with
to me that it would be the same day as Forza, personally, but maybe there's not enough overlap there.
I don't think.
Yeah,
I think
plus
it was a
they-
mistake. Yeah.
If they both come to Game Pass, which they will, maybe that would be less of an issue if you're worried about like fans not having enough money to buy both. Like Game Pass nullifies that. So maybe they could get away with that.
I think
Definitely.
it's more of like dividing the player base, but I just kind of gush? Can I gush, please?
Go for it.
Can I gush about Halo Infinite?
Bring
Because
it
like,
now.
How much are you going to gush?
Yeah.
Because I only have so many paper towels.
I've been very open that all I care about is give me Halo. Halo series has changed my life. That was the series that got me through deployments. That was the series that kept me reconnected to friends. I just love Halo so much, and I'm not even being dramatic when I say Halo 5 broke my heart that I didn't connect to it like I have in previous games. Like, it genuinely just shredded my soul, and I was one of the few people that actually liked gameplay reveal last year that caused the delay, not just because it was giving me really serious like Halo Reach vibes, so I was like all in. But I am so happy that hi kitty. I'm so happy that they listened to feedback. You know, people were saying it was too bright and cheery. So then they were like, okay, you don't want cheer? We're going to go into hell, man. Like, here's some like Mass Effect 2 opening cinematic vibes of him just descending into this danger, and Cortana Light kind of leaning into the Halo 5 storyline of them having to track her down, and really just I love the fact that they did story trailer and a multiplayer trailer at the same time, because both of those mean so much to the community, myself included.
Definitely.
They're both incredibly important to the Halo experience. And Arena's back, baby. Like, let's freaking go. I'm so excited for the multiplayer. I'm already like dominating Alex's time. It's not even out yet, and I'm already forcing him to play with me.
The videos. Yeah, it's gonna be great. I do want to quick before we move on from that. I do want to make up, like we talked about on stream too. The positioning of the story is very interesting to me, because it really, in that first trailer, the brute chieftain, it ends with his VO of like, come, let us do combat, let us see who is the greatest of all, and like and then in this trailer too, it's the Cortana VO of talking about death and how your impact is going to last and whatnot. I think they're setting this up to be Chief's last ride. I think that's a prediction right now that I could be wrong on, but I want that. I talk about it on a reaction stream. I want, if they're going to do it right and be done. You know, I think some of the best Halo experiences story-wise are Reach and ODST, and they don't have Chief. So if they're going to go that route, I hope they do it.
The Brood storyline.
Yeah, and then Craig the Brood is the
If he's got a romance option, we riot.
Yeah. I think it's this.
Sorry,
being.
Marcus.
I think the problem is being beholden to what came before you and trying to continue to make that work in a way that's getting stale. And I talked about it on, especially juxtaposed against Gears, right? These are the two of the biggest Microsoft franchises ever. And I think they go very different ways story-wise in quality, right? I think 4 and 5 for Halo are not that great. 4 is okay, but 5 really had its issues, where Gears 4 and 5 went with a new cast while still being connected to those old series. But that's not Marcus is a big part of it. Marcus Phoenix, not Marcus Stewart, but I'm sure you're a big part of Gears.
I like to think so.
Yeah, and then they changed the story and gave me more people to care about while rooting it in a world that I loved still. And I really want Halo Infinite to do that and then continue.
What's your take on
trend.
this new AI construct thing? Because there's this new AI that's not Cortana, but sounds exactly like Cortana.
Right,
She's
looks like
wearing
her.
a shirt.
Kind of light.
Yeah,
I feel
Cortana Light.
Cortana
I feel
2.
like there could be a really cool storyline there, like because AIs. And not to keep always bringing it back to Mass Effect, but Mass Effect 3 had this really cool storyline with like Legion and the Geth, and how they evolved as one entity into being a true AI and consciousness and developing actual human-like stream of thought. And wouldn't it be cool if so they hunted her down, Cortana's done, because the first Halo Infinite teaser had that hidden message. If you decoded the the static, it was a message from Cortana. So wouldn't it be cool if like this was a construct of Cortana's data, but she doesn't realize it because like the core part of her personality is locked behind some kind of a corruption wall or something. I could also be just talking out of my ass, but I think that would be a really cool storyline to be like, it was like in WandaVision, it was Cortana all along.
Yeah.
Like, just, I don't know.
I was hoping he would just take that weird old-timey pilot AI from like Halo 5, that weird guy. I was
yeah.
I wish it was him instead. He's weird. I want to know more about him.
Yeah. And you may. I do think it is, not to spoil Halo 5 too much though, but I think they're taking a direction that on paper could satisfy those who were not satisfied with Halo 5, right? It's not necessarily, we didn't get this bombastic like it's going to be Chief versus Cortana. It's like, no, Cortana's out of the picture now. We got to figure out what happened with that, which I think is nice to be like, okay, yep, Halo 5 did happen, but now we're going a different route with this, and now we're not necessarily have to be locked into that storyline. So I'm potentially excited for it for sure.
I'm too excited.
Cool. And it was nice to get some clarification on stuff. There have been a lot of rumors floating around about that Halo Infinite, and it's good to get it locked in. There's the multiplayer is definitely going to be free to play, and the single player releases same day as multiplayer, so they're not coming out at different times. They're both coming out at holiday. Game Pass if you got it. So a lot of good confirmations there. It's good to see, and yeah, I'm with you guys. I want to play this game. I like Halo, and I haven't been excited about Halo in a while, and I'm starting to get excited now.
That makes me really happy, actually. Yeah. I'm happy to hear it.
Yeah. Great. So moving on, we can blast through a couple of these, I hope, but Diablo 2 Resurrected, we got a new trailer for that. It's, going to have 8 players in it. It's Diablo 2 that you know and love, but better visuals, more blood and guts. I don't know. September 23rd. I'm looking forward to that. Obviously, as a Diablo 2 fan, I'm looking forward to that. But there's not a lot more you could say, I guess. Hey, Diablo 2. There was a big surprise right after that, though. A game that I loved and played a lot, reviewed, and I said, everybody should play this game. And I don't think anybody did. Plague Tale. I like that game. Did anybody here finally play that game?
Yeah. Yes, I played that game not too long after launch, and I'm with you. This was actually the game of the day for me. Like, this was my favorite announcement of everything I saw today. Just because I was so blind, I did not expect this at all, and I was blindsided in the best way. And yeah, I'm with you, Ben. I spent like 2019 singing that game's praises to anyone that would listen. I'm like, you gotta play this. It's like, it was my favorite narrative of anything that came out that year.
So good.
I think the gameplay was what it was. It was serviceable at best, like some pretty basic stealth focused gameplay, like not bad, just Yeah. But like, I think
that was the problem. It was the gameplay was not great, but the like narrative was way surprising, better than I thought it was going to be. And the game looked good. I mean, the gameplay also, while it wasn't like great, it was doable. It wasn't like overly hard, or there weren't tons of bugs that bogged down.
Yeah,
the action.
Bad. It was, and there were some cool moments, like some of the puzzles where you're manipulating the rats and stuff. There was some good stuff in there. But yeah, like it was good enough for that story to carry you through it. And it's not like a super long game either. But yeah, I was enamored with that game. Like I ran through it. I was like you, but I was shocked at how much I was enjoying that world and those characters, and just it was like this dark, grim fantasy world with this really touching relationship between these siblings, as well as the other friends that they meet along the way, and just hanging out with them. And I think I loved it too, because you really don't get a lot of games outside of Japan that focus on kids / like preteens as the protagonist. And I guess a lot of that is like, well, especially if you're doing a game that's like maybe violent, we can't have kids getting like beat up or killed, I guess. But yeah, like I think I'm a sucker for movies like that, like coming of age kind of stories, like growing up with like Goonies and stuff like that. And so I think that game clicked with that part of my brain, but in a much darker sense. But even during that game's darker moments, like just the heart that it has, it's phenomenal. So
well, and when kids show up in Japanese stuff, they usually act like adults anyway. So it's like
Oh,
they'll
yeah,
have a general of an army and they'll be like 14 years old. They're like, okay.
Yeah,
But the kids yeah, exactly. And they look like they're
25.
30.
Yeah.
But
So-
Plague Tale, like the kids act like kids, which is kind of nice. So I
Yeah,
definitely
yeah.
recommend that. Original Plague Tale is on Game Pass now.
Well, no,
And
not anymore. It's gone now.
Oh, did they take it off?
At least on console. I don't know about PC, but
You
I
missed
know
your
it's
chance.
off. I know it's off on console.
That's a bummer. Okay, well, strike that from the record, counselor. Plague Tale Requiem, the new one, comes out next year, and it will be on Game Pass when it launches. So, smoke them as you got them. I don't know.
We got 'em, boys.
Smoke those rats.
That's right. We got a new trailer for Far Cry 6. This is what, the 7th trailer this week?
Yeah,
Feels like they just keep releasing them.
They're trying to
You
get
don't
to
even need
6.
to play the game at this point. We've seen it all.
Yeah,
Is
game still
anyone-
looks good.
Does anyone
You're not
think-
excited for it, Marcus?
It's weird. The only Far Cry I've ever played is 3. And I've always meant to play like 4 and 5, but I just never have. I don't know why. Because I really love 3, protagonists excluded. And I'm excited for 6, but I don't know, something about the gameplay seeing, I was like, does this look a little dated? I don't know what it is. Like maybe the animations or maybe just how it comes across in the video. But
Does it look like it should have come out in like January of this year?
A little bit.
maybe or maybe like on last gen or something. There's a last gen-ish quality to it that I thought it was just me yesterday, but then when I watched it again today, I was like, no, it's there.
The facial
Not-
models are definitely behind.
Yeah, I think that's what it is, especially with the villain being based on a real person. It kind of comes through a lot clearer.
Sad that the only thing I care about Far Cry 6 is the season pass. I just want to play as Voss. Like, I got more excited about the season pass reveal than I did about the actual game.
It seemed like a cool idea for whatever that is, like villains coming back.
That's fair. We should move on, though. There's still got a lot to cover. So moving on, next up, we saw Slime Rancher 2, which was a cool little announcement. That's coming out next year to Game Pass. That first game was a lot of fun. You use ranch slimes. Basically, you collect a bunch of slimes and grow them in tanks.
Dip them in ranch.
Yeah, you dip them in ranch. They're delicious. There's a game called Shredders. It's a snowboarding game, which looked all right. If you're really into snowboarding games, we don't get enough of those. I really just want another SSX personally, but Shredders comes out in December on Game Pass if you're into that. Atomic Heart, which is this cool looking game that's been in the works for a few years now. It looks very BioShock inspired, and I've been wanting to see more of it. So it was cool that we got another trailer on it, and it is also coming to Game Pass. So
it looks rad.
recommend, check out the trailer if you can.
That game is the new Biomutant, and that is the coolest game I regularly forget exists.
100%.
Because that's what Biomutant was for me before it came out.
Yeah.
Yeah,
I'd
and I think
never,
it's another game that's done by a really small team.
Yeah, I'd never heard of that until today. And the trailer, I thought was great. I was thinking more Wolfenstein than BioShock, but I do my best not to think about BioShock. So that might have been that reason.
I can see the Wolfenstein though.
Yeah, no, I think that's really cool. And I think it's cool that like Game Pass is allowing, I don't know. There's like, I was thinking about this in terms of that game. Like for a little while, it felt like the bottom had kind of dropped out on weirder shooters like that, except for something like a Wolfenstein. And it's cool to see something like Game Pass like allow for investment in those. So that it's not just like, and no hate to Battlefield or Halo, but those are like legacy brands. You know what I'm saying? Like it's cool to see something like Atomic Heart come out and be like, oh, that's different. Like I'm really, really into that. I guess Stalker 2 to some extent as well.
Well said.
Thank
I
you.
was really curious. What did you guys think of that game Replaced? It was this rad looking pixel shooter side scrolling game.
Alex, did you? Because in chat, me and Jay, I think were the two. We were convinced that it was the last night.
Oh yeah, 100%. Until it said replaced. Even after it said replaced, I was like, okay, they took the problematic creator off, and then they just made their own game. But that like almost like frame for frame, I was like, this has to be the last night, right?
It's crazy. Like, we had the exact same conversation. Like, maybe they just changed the name because like the association with it or something.
Yeah.
But yeah, like it looks cool, but only because it looks like the last night, which I thought looked cool too.
Yeah. I think
it's so weird.
I think this had a little bit more not dynamic lighting, but maybe a little bit more realistic feel than the pure pixel art of the last night, right? It seemed like it was going for a little bit more advanced. Like if you ratchet up the gameplay sliders like a little bit, or like the graphic sliders, but
it seemed flatter.
Yeah.
Like I feel like that last night trailer from like what 4 or 5 years ago now. There was a lot. They played with the camera a lot more, like the perspective and the gameplay.
Yeah.
And this one seemed a lot more 2D.
For sure.
Well, there was a few shots in the trailer for Replaced where you could tell there was some depth. You could see the voxel depth in some of the shots.
For sure.
Because it's all made out of 3D. It just looks like it's a 2D pixel game.
Yeah.
Did the last night that never came out, right?
No, that's supposed to be an Xbox exclusive. That's why we thought this was it.
Right. Yeah.
And it's never been canceled, so it's still happening as far as we know. But I wonder if you're that guy watching this. And you're like, what the hell?
If you're that guy watching this, hey, what's up?
Like, wait, that's where my game went. What the hell? Yeah.
They got tired of waiting for me, so someone else did it.
Wait, all my artists left? Did their own thing? Yeah, I think that game looks cool. It's called Replaced. Comes out next year. Hopefully, it doesn't get delayed. And also Game Pass. Hey, I don't know. Do you guys think Game Pass is a good deal, or?
Oh my God,
it could be the best deal.
I'm sure this was intentional, but like almost every game was like, and it's on Game Pass, and it's on Game Pass. It just felt like they were hitting us over the head, like, hey, buy Game Pass, idiots.
Yeah, which I mean, they should. That's incredible. A lot of those games look really, really awesome. And yeah, like I mean, I've been subscribed to Game Pass since it started. I remember when it was like pretty weak, and to see it then versus now, it's like night and day.
Not to plug our own site or anything, because this isn't the Game Informer podcast, but we wrote a feature literally comparing the E3 2016 speech from Phil Spencer to the state of Xbox right now. And the reason we wrote that was because there were so many promises that people ripped him apart for during 2016 because we were coming off of Xbox One gen, and obviously we got burnt. And now looking back at that time and reflecting on his speech to where we're at now, him and his team fulfilled every promise they made. And I love the Xbox Game Pass. And here's the reason why. I am primarily a PC player, and even I have Xbox Game Pass for Xbox, because their whole mission statement, Microsoft when Phil Spencer took over, they completely turned their mission statement for the Xbox brand on its head. And part of that is gaming for everybody. And it's not just a slogan. That's the thing. A lot of gaming companies say gaming is for everyone, but they're not willing to put their money where their mouth is. Xbox has continuously done that, both with accessibility with the adaptive controllers, and they even have a whole epilepsy document, which is amazing. They're the only company that's doing that. But more than that is they're also tackling financial accessibility as well. In the preview, we talked about when I did marketing for Barnes & Noble, and I did a lot of marketing with Recife Brazil. And what was interesting to me is a cell phone, a console can cost up to $2,000, even though that's a tech hub of the world, because just the inflation rate is so hard there. So it's really inaccessible to get new gen console, generations and things like that. So with this, especially paired with the TV integration that Xbox talked about earlier this month, they're looking to integrate, they're still making consoles, but they're looking to integrate the Xbox experience with smart TVs. And doing that with Xbox Game Pass, now gaming really is for everybody because there's not going to be that financial barrier. And with games coming in at the $70 price tag, and games, as we saw with Cyberpunk, sorry, CD Projekt Red, there's a big trust that's been broken with the industry of what a game actually is versus what it's been shown as. And this gives people that have that, that wariness a chance to try before they buy. For me, with epilepsy, it gives me a chance to try a game to see if it's safe for me to play. Because some games I can do, like in our epilepsy coverage, we did tips on how to do it, but some of them are really too dangerous even with that. And the Xbox Game Pass is a great deal. And if you don't have it, or if you're interested, please look into it, because I cannot recommend it enough. It is amazing. But
you know what? Plague Tale Innocence isn't on Game Pass, so it kind of sucks.
That's fair. Ben's like, shut up. I do. I can sing that praises for so long. It's just great.
Yeah.
They showed off, next they showed off Grounded. They did an update on that game, which it's a fun game. We had it on our cover way back when. They've done a bunch of updates. They're adding mushrooms.
I love that game.
That's like their big update.
They are, yeah.
Comes out June 30th. Then they showed off a quick Among Us trailer. There's a 15-player lobby now. It's also on Game Pass. Then help me with this one if you can. Remember that game Sudoku? I'm not an expert in this game by any means, but I know they the studio Rabbit and Bear did a Kickstarter for a Sudoku spiritual successor called, and I'm sorry, I'm going to butcher the name. How do you pronounce this? Eiyuden Chronicles? Is that right?
Yeah.
Eiyuden.
Eiyuden?
Eiyuden?
Eiyuden Chronicles 100 Heroes.
Sounds about right.
It's
He's
a
like,
RPG.
what name is harder to pronounce than Suikoden?
I have no idea. All I know is that game recently got delayed into 2023, but as sort of a, I guess, consolation prize, they announced today another Eiyuden Chronicle game, Eiyuden Chronicles Rising, which is sort of an action RPG game of sorts to tide people over, I guess.
That's weird, right? That'd be like Halo last year. Like, we delayed Halo, but we have another Halo for you this year that you didn't know about.
Not understand that one, yeah.
That's cool, I guess, but
game looks cool. That 2D HD, like, yeah, I'm with it.
That's like the thing now.
I love it. Give me more.
Yeah, I know Kim was excited about that. So all you JRPG fans, look forward to this one, I guess. Yeah, for sure. They showed off a game called The Ascent, which is another, have a new gameplay today on the site if you want to check it out. It's a top-down co-op shooter. Looks really good. That's coming to Game Pass.
Prequel to The Descent.
That's
we discussed.
Correct,
yes.
As we discussed a few weeks ago.
As we discussed, for sure. It's coming out of Game Pass on July 29th, The Ascent. Saw Age of Empires 4 after that, coming out October 28th on Game Pass. Should I keep saying Game Pass?
Yes.
I feel like it's drilled in well enough at this point.
You could throw in a PlayStation Now every once in a while, I suppose, but
yeah, some of these games are coming to PlayStation, but obviously Xbox isn't going to announce that. Outer Worlds 2. What'd you guys think of that one?
Excited. I thought that trailer was hilarious.
Dude, they made fun of a huge problem in the industry of, we're announcing this game way too soon than we should, but it's got slow motion shots, which means guaranteed pre-order. I was dying laughing that entire narration. I'm so excited. Outer Worlds, I don't care what people say. Outer Worlds is an enjoyable experience. It was the New Vegas sequel we're never going to freaking get.
It was great.
Are people saying it wasn't an enjoyable experience?
Yeah, people, last time I brought up Outer Worlds, people in the comment section were very angry that we talked about Outer Worlds.
No, I love that game.
There's literally a side quest where you take LSD and you have to talk to dead people. Like, that game was a gem.
I
can't wait.
I think it's interesting, though, they chose to announce it now, especially with no date, when we have a bunch of other stuff. Like, we didn't see Everwild, we didn't see Fable. There's a couple of games that we know about that we didn't see. Avowed, yeah.
Another Obsidian game.
Yeah.
I thought of that too, because Avowed, which basically looks like their version of Elder Scrolls, and then you could say maybe this is their take on Starfield, even though it existed first. But it just feels like Obsidian's doing everything Bethesda's doing now.
I think we're going to see that every time. I think that's going to be a QuakeCon exclusive. Yeah. I think we're going to see Avowed at Game Awards too. I think we're going to see a release date for Avowed then.
Yeah, I mean, but yeah, I was in on the trailer, but I was like, I feel like I knew this was coming. I wouldn't have minded not seeing it. Not to be like, that may sound more cynical than it actually is, but it's like, if that game's if this game's not coming until 2024, 2023, I guess I wasn't clamoring to see it because I knew it was kind of coming. I don't know. That sounds jaded, but
I mean, they didn't announce a date, to be fair, so it could be sooner. But the fact that they were joking, basically in the trailer, the narrator was joking, yeah, this game is still in the works and we don't have anything designed yet.
We have nothing to show you.
And if that's your announced trailer, I'm with you. What's the purpose of showing it?
Yeah. It also makes the joke not land.
Because they're doing it.
If they would have done that trailer, then showed a bunch of gameplay, that joke would be hilarious.
We might be doing it. They might be setting it up for a future event.
Sure, but I feel like if you're like, man, doesn't it suck when game companies do this? It's like, yeah.
It does.
Is it softening the blow of oh, don't get excited, we got nothing for you?
It does suck when game companies do this, Obsidian. It does.
I kind of feel like they're making fun of I think Bethesda's making fun of itself though. Bethesda is known for making fun of itself. I think they're making fun of the fact that they shared Elder Scrolls 2 early because they did that with Alexa with Skyrim of oh, you guys are tired of us releasing that so much? Yeah. Well, here it is on a freaking robot.
Yeah. I mean, it'll be great it'll be great when we finally get it, right? But I think, especially with what we already know about, I guess it was a cherry on the top that I was like, okay, cool. I'm still hyped for other stuff.
Just give us more Parvati. I'll be good.
Yeah.
Yes, please.
Yeah. The queen.
New cast, right? And did they say it was going to be? I'm interested. New cast. I wonder if they're going to reference
the
the
Microsoft
first
money.
game at all.
It's a beautiful thing.
Well, the game looked, well, to Blake's point, like, was this even part of that game? Did they just like buy assets from somebody else and like put it together? So maybe the game won't look at all like this, but it looked visually interesting. Like they have better tech now. So maybe it'll look better. We'll see. They showed off Flight Sim. Flight Sim's coming to consoles on July 27th.
Oh, let's go.
Yeah, I'm excited. Like I tried downloading that on my PC and it got tired of downloading it. So I tried to download it onto my console.
Yeah, it's still downloading right now.
I'm finally gonna try to buy one of those Xboxes so I can play Flight Sim. That game crazy. It's like my favorite game I've never played because I don't have a PC that can run it, but I would watch streams of that for hours on end.
Yeah.
Especially the streamer would be like, where should I go? And I'd send them my address, dox myself. But I just wanted to see it. Like, I don't care.
CSA when you could just dox yourself.
Yeah, I show up at my house, see what happens.
Did you finally find out what the outside of your house looks like?
Yeah, it looked like honestly. It was like all flat and didn't load in. Like they hadn't got to that part of Louisville, Kentucky yet.
It's like the elephant graveyard in Lion King. They're like, it's the dark zone. We don't go there.
Yeah. They're too busy modeling like the Burj Khalifa. They haven't got to Middletown, Louisville yet.
Well, we'll see if they get to it before July 27th. That's when it's hitting Game Pass on consoles. They're also doing a fall update. It's going to be Top Gun themed, which that's kind of cool. I don't know. That makes sense, right?
I was like, does that mean dogfights or you just fly the Mavericks
shirtless
plane?
volleyball scenes?
I don't even remember that announcement.
I was like, we're just shooting down passenger airlines.
It was very confusing because like Microsoft Flight Simulators, their whole marketing plan is like so serene. And then it's like Top Gun, baby, Tom Cruise.
So like we've seen those videos. We've seen those videos, you guys crashing into buildings, so we're just gonna lean into that.
I think you play as Goose.
Oh,
yeah, I'm curious about that too, because like there's no like shooting, right? You're not going to be shooting anybody. You're just going to be flying those planes.
Yeah, like serenely flying Maverick's jet. Like that seems weird.
Yeah, I don't know. It's interesting. I'll, at the same time, I'm excited to play the game.
Yeah,
they showed off Forza Horizon 5, which is one of the last games of the show. To end or almost end on a racing game feels like a bold move, but that game looks really good. Yeah. You're going to Mexico this time. They say it's like the biggest open world that they've designed. I think the foliage looked incredible. What'd you guys think?
I have two questions. So that is still Playground, right?
Yep.
So they're making this and Fable at the same time.
So that means Fable is long way.
So, we're ain't getting that anytime soon.
And also, like, so was this the Forza game that they've been holding off on showing? Because it was weird because normally they go more Forza Motorsport Horizon like back and forth, but they've gone Horizon now. I was like, so was this the Forza game that we've been waiting on that they teased? What was it, last year? For next gen, like their next gen Forza, and then didn't reveal it. Was this it, or is there still a Forza? What are they up to? 8?
They acknowledged
9.
They acknowledged that at the end. I think Phil Spencer, when they were going through the games that they didn't show but still working on, I think they said like, and the next Forza experience, which actually I'm okay with because I love the Horizon series. I love the more arcadey stuff, and I never play the motorsport games. So
me neither. I don't care about the main ones. I like Horizon 4 was the first one I really got into and loved. I was more like audience surrogate for like the motorsport fans because I was genuinely wondering that. I was like, I should ask for those people because I don't care, but I would like to know.
Man of the people, we appreciate you.
I think the Forza Horizon games specifically are great. They're very arcade friendly. Like, if you're not a huge racing game enthusiast, like you can jump into these and have a good time.
Yeah, open world RPG with cars. That's all it is.
Love it. Yeah,
basically.
I just want more Hot Wheels crossovers. Like, give it to me. Like, I'm all in. I think it's
more Hot Wheels, more Legos, any of that.
Yeah,
more Batmobiles. Give me some Batmobiles, please. Ooh, that'd be great. Anyway, that's coming out November 9th on Game Pass, of course. Then
my birthday.
Congrats.
Happy birthday.
Microsoft ended the show with Arcane Austin's new game. We covered Deathloop quite a bit. That's Arcane Lyon in France. We know what that is, but we've been wondering what the Arcane Austin team has been working on. Turns out they're working on Redfall. It's a co-op they call it an open world shooter, which I think is interesting. It looks, like another Left 4 Dead style game.
Yeah.
It's like everybody's doing that these days, which, hey,
they should.
I don't have a problem with that.
It has vampires and magic and slushies that are made with crushed up vampires and sassy one-liners. Give this to me.
They have their own big vampire lady.
Yes.
Yeah.
Better big vampire lady. Can't wait to see all the weird mods with that.
Wow. Okay. Throwing that fire in there. Yeah.
It looked like most of that trailer was like pre-rendered stuff. I don't know how much of that's gameplay, unfortunately. But
I didn't because of that. I didn't feel too into it because I was like, I don't know what the hell this is. But I also will play anything Arcane makes, like Dishonored, one of my top series of all time. So they could have been like, "We farted in your Xbox," and I'm like, "Yeah, I'll check it out." So,
a whiff.
Love it.
There's probably a lot of intricate systems in this fart.
You give me vampires and you give me a Left 4 Dead experience, because I lived off of Vampire Masquerade, and since we're not getting Bloodlines 2 any freaking time soon, I will be eating up anything. And you are so right, Arcane, man. Ooh, child, anybody can make this vision damn good. It's gonna be Arcane. I'm so excited.
Well, maybe it might suck. It might be a fart in your Xbox for all we know.
We don't know.
It looks cool. It looks cool. Point being,
I'm with you guys. Arcane generally does some awesome stuff, but the reason I love them is for they make awesome single player, immersive sims. And like I love the worlds they construct, and you can mess around in them. I wonder how that's going to work in a multiplayer co-op shooter.
Yeah, I'm confident they'll come up with. Because their games are so systems heavy, they'll find a way to kind of implement that philosophy into that Left 4 Dead template. Like, I don't think it's just going to be literally Left 4 Dead with vampires. Like, they'll find some unique hook with it.
It looked like it. The characters were fully developed. Like what we saw, like they all have their own personalities. They all look, sound, act differently. And just from that little bit of look we had, if that's true to actually what the game and not just like, bait and switch. I think because there's a lot of multiplayer games out there that have really good story. I think you just have to know your vision going in before you start, because it's when you start to lose that vision that you start getting like pulled in too many different directions.
I'm sure there are multiplayer immersive sims, but none of them are coming to mind. But like it could be interesting to see. I mean, granted, I don't know if this is Arcane's plan. Maybe they're just making an arcade shooter, but like it could be interesting to see the way deep immersive sim mechanics. What a load of buzzwords just right in front of them. But that kind of game like works in a multiplayer setting. Like, I'm not very creative, so nothing is immediately jumping to mind for what that could mean, but it could be really cool. I don't know. Yeah, just a thought
for sure. I think it's also interesting. It sets an interesting picture for next year for Microsoft too, right? Because they touted that as 2022. So that's close, right? That's a year from now. We know Starfield's going to be their big tentpole, but they must feel really good about what else is coming, right? Like, is Gears on the horizon? Is some of those other games? Like, we don't know, but I think it sets up an interesting timeline. And now the narrative that Xbox doesn't have games is just pure fan like ire at this point. Like, because
Xbox was king in the heyday.
The next 5 years are setting up nicely, I feel like.
Xbox was king when the first Xbox came out, and 360. They were like kings of the gaming space. I'm excited, and nobody should be better than the other. I think we all win when everything kicks ass, but I'm excited to see them get back to where they used to be, because it was beautiful.
Yeah. Well, and in interesting ways and that differentiate from Sony, right? Like Sony, I still feel like Sony's right now is the king of narrative, really polished, high quality adventures, right? And I feel like Xbox is going to give us that, but also in a lot of different ways that Sony isn't. It just feels like there's so much parity between the two now, and I think that's only a benefit to all of us.
That's in that feature too. We all win when they have different ideas and different visions, man.
Bring back Blinks the Time Sweeper.
It's time! Where's
Microsoft? How many times do we have to keep telling you this? Come on.
All right, bring it back. Bring that little cat back. Bring his vacuum back.
Well, aside from that,
tagline idea.
Very big disappointment I think Microsoft's press conference was pretty solid.
Yes.
You know who else had a press conference today?
Warner
they were trying their hardest. Square Enix,
PC
which
gamer.
I thought PC. Yeah, Square Enix. I thought they started off pretty strong. They did a Guardians of the Galaxy debut, which they were able to keep secret, which was nice.
Yeah.
What did you guys think of that Guardians of the Galaxy game? I was watching chat the whole time. Oh, did it?
Yeah.
Not into my eyes. It did
not gameplay or anything, just that it was coming.
Okay.
Good old Jeffy Poo mentioned it last month. He got a little excited.
Jeff Grubb, not our Jeffy Poo. Jeff Cork.
Not our Jeffy Poo. The different Jeffy Poo.
If it would have been Cork, it would have just been a crazy man just yelling into the ether. Like, you're like, all right, Cork, like, calm down.
And that's why Jeff Cork is no longer with us.
Yeah. But I think that game looks cool. I'm excited at the idea of it being single player and story driven after Avengers, because that was the thing that I liked about Avengers was the single player campaign for the most part. So for them to basically do what looks basically like Mass Effect ish,
Mass Effect meets
maybe a bit
Worlds.
more actiony. Yeah, like the idea of like, hey, you're only playing a Star-Lord and you're kind of making choices with the other Guardians, and like I want to see the depth of those choices if it's anything like deeper. Like we saw an example of like, you know, them arguing and Peter choosing who to side with and stuff like that. I hope there's a choice where you can tell Rocket to cut his weird little beard thing that he's got going on. Like I hope he asks you like, hey, do you think this looks good, Quill?
You're like,
and then but to fit the character, he'll just do the opposite of what you say. Like if you say it looks good, he'll cut it. So
I'm with you, Marcus. By and large, I thought the character designs were pretty cool and I liked them, but that weird beard thing on Rocket really annoyed me. I don't know why.
I just want to pull on it.
Yeah.
yeah.
He's a raccoon. He doesn't need a beard.
Yeah.
Yeah, I think it looks solid, and it definitely looks like it's something that is coming this year. Like it's coming October
26th.
I love that they showed so much. They showed a cinematic look and they showed a bunch of gameplay. So like, you know what you're getting with this game. Like you can appropriately be excited if this is your fancy, because they showed a lot. I'm interested in the morality because you guys know I love my morality games, and I think that's a really cool spin. And when Reiner, you know, obviously it's our cover story, but when Reiner was first talking about it and he was like, it's Mass Effect. It's Mass Effect meets Marvel. And I was like, sold. Like, yeah, you already had me. I don't even see anything and you already have me. So I don't know. And I love the fact that they were so silly with the dialogue. Like, you got to capture Star-Lord's personality. Like
you can definitely tell there was some a James Gunn influences there too, because it's definitely inspired by the films in a large part. Which
100%.
Those films are fun. Yeah. So why not?
Definitely.
But we, as mentioned, it is Game Informer's newest cover, so we have a cover hub for it. So go online and check out that info. We have a cover which looks really good, and we'll have a whole month worth of cover stories going up online, and we'll be talking about it a little bit more later this month. So stay tuned for that.
Quick question: what do you think talking to Groot's going to be like in that game? If conversation is a big part of it.
The raccoon. That guy.
I guess he's just always present for.
He translates for Groot, which I know because of Andrew Reiner's cover story, which you can buy on GameInformer.com.
Oh, there we go.
Plug.
I don't know if you can buy it on our website. You can buy it at GameStop.
Yeah.
Next up, there's a bunch of little stories that I'm just blast through here. There's a Final Fantasy Pixel Remaster coming to PC and mobile. It collects basically the first 6 Final Fantasies, which if you have not played those, this might be a great time.
I haven't, and I'm not put it on Switch. Sorry.
Yeah,
it seems like me off.
Seems like an apology for those. It seems like an apology for those last mobile ports, honestly.
Which were bad.
Yeah.
There's also Legend of Mana coming June 24th, which I believe is coming to Switch.
Oh, good. Cool.
Yeah. So check that out. It's also on PS4 and Steam. There's a couple of Avengers updates. I don't think we need to go in depth on a lot of that, but big thing there is a War for Wakanda, which comes out in August. Brian Shea wrote a bunch of stuff online. You can check that out.
I thought that Black Panther. I'm sorry. I thought that Black Panther update looked really good. I was surprised.
You don't have to apologize for thinking Black Panther looks good.
I think that game largely looks really bad, but when I saw the trailer for that, I was like, I wish this was just a game I could buy and play. Like, I don't want to play it just as a little update. I thought it was awesome.
Well, it's a free update.
Yeah, but I'd have to buy the actual game to play it. I just want a Black Panther game is what I'm saying.
Well, if you really want to pay for something, you can send me the money.
Yeah, Will, what's your Venmo? Say it on the episode.
It's
It seemed like Black Panther was the one Marvel thing that the fans, because the live chat for this game was really upset at the heavy Marvel focus at the beginning of this. It seemed like Wakanda and Black Panther was the one thing that they were kind of okay with.
Hell yeah. It looked awesome.
I was watching the chat too. It was like the chat was not into Guardians of the Galaxy in any way. I don't know what they were hoping for.
I think
because it's Square Enix, like a lot of those fans are JRPG, Final Fantasy, Kingdom Hearts, and like
for sure.
People want to know about, now that Intermission is out for Final Fantasy 7, people are like, all right, time for Remake 2, Part 2 news, right? Or Final Fantasy 16. We haven't heard from that in a while, so like I don't think Square was wrong to start with Marvel if the promise at the end would be the other stuff, but I think it was so much that those fans were just impatient.
And but Square's already done, like we talked about this earlier, right? But Square's been doing some art JRPG love too, with like they did the Dragon Quest live stream earlier, and they showed off what's coming from there. And I don't know,
that was also in Japanese,
and at like 3 a.m. US Central Time, but
a bit much.
I don't know. I guess I didn't. But they were clear on what they were going to show, but I guess that doesn't matter.
They were, but that never stopped anyone from complaining.
That's true. And yeah, we'll get to what the Final Fantasy Origins here in a minute. But before that, they showed off Babylon's Fall, which was the new Platinum game coming to PlayStation 4, PC, and they announced PS5.
Can we talk about this for a second?
Yeah, I would love to. What'd you guys think? It had some really crazy voice acting. That's what I remember from the trailer.
When you think Platinum games, what do you think? Single player, narrative focused,
crazy voice acting.
That's right. We got a live service co-op game coming from Platinum Games, what no one on earth asked for. And I saw this trailer and I was like, whatever. I'm really excited to play it with my boys, Jacob Geller, AJ Moser, shouts out. And I was like, guys, aren't you excited we can play a Platinum game together? And all of them were like, hell no. And I was like, well, I guess I'm never playing this game. But for a brief moment, I was really excited to play this game with my friends.
Are these the same boys who don't want to play Sea of Thieves with you?
No, a different friend group. I got so many boys. Yeah, I got so many boys.
You need different boys.
He's got boys on deck. I'll play.
I got lots of fellas. Really? Yeah. Okay. Marcus and me will play.
Yeah.
I know, like that's not what people want from Platinum. It's not what I want from Platinum. I'm really sorry, Alex.
We're just going for it today.
It's Sunday. You have me working on a Sunday.
Lord's Day.
Yeah. Well, he made the word.
Yeah.
I just say it. I know it's like what no one wants from that studio, but I also think it would be just really fun to play a game as chaotic as they make with friends. Like that sounds really appealing to me, and I'm surprised by that. I think the game looks cool. I'm excited.
Yeah, I think I'm less concerned about the co-op element and more the live service element of it.
That's fair. Yeah,
100%. That's the thing that threw me, because I'm like, you just did this with Avengers last year, and it feels like you were not ready or prepared. It felt like you got caught with your pants down. Like, oh, we have to keep making content. And it feels like, are they really prepared to support this game?
Platinum just recently opened a Tokyo studio that I think is focused on mobile development, but I wonder if they are going to shift any live service components to that. Because that makes more sense to me to have that kind of focused studio.
Consulat really likes mobile talk, apparently. She has been ignoring me all day. And then now all of a sudden she's like, yeah, mobile.
Yeah, I will say, like, I think the game, like, the gameplay, it looks fine. Like, my excitement for the game did drop a bit after this trailer because of those, like, the live service stuff. And even fidelity wise, I was like, does this look worse than the first time I saw it? Or has there been like, it's been like, I think the last gameplay showing was December 2019. Yeah. So maybe there's a lot of time has passed where I forgot what it looked like initially, but I was like, there's some scenes that had this weird sort of like almost kind of haze over everything, like a yellow haze that I was like trying to put my finger on. Like, what is that?
It had a Nier Automata look to it, honestly. Go back and play that game. It looks very similar in how muddy it is.
For sure.
Yeah,
I could see it.
I was going to ask though, like I couldn't tell if it was the stream and having a bad bit rate. Is it like kind of trying to be watercolory, or was it just okay? Because I couldn't tell if that was the visual choice or if the stream was chugging. Which either way, not a great look, you know.
Yeah,
but
I didn't even pick up on the watercolor. So if it is, maybe they need to lean into that more to make that more evident. I didn't catch that.
Well, it's a live service game, so they'll be adding more water.
Right. I saw someone. I saw someone say it. I believe they were making fun of the game. Ask, was this made in dreams? Which I thought was a funny comment. But I think the art style is fine.
Yeah, like I like the idea of like the medieval sci-fi blend there.
Yeah.
I still have no inkling of what the plot of that game is, even watching that. Like, I don't know what's actually happening here, but like Platinum.
Knowing Platinum's storytelling, you may never know the plot of that game.
Yeah, sure. But I'm less excited for, but I am curious because I am a big Platinum fan. So.
It's the only thing I saw during Square Enix's press conference where I thought, I think I'm going to play that. So at the very least, that's like
really that was the only thing. You weren't into Guardians at all.
No. No.
Yeah. Are you? I forget. Are you a big Marvel person in general?
Not at all. No. No.
Are you a big person?
Like 5'11", so average.
Above average.
That's not bad.
Yeah.
All right. Well, next up, they showed Life is Strange. Well, just as a quick aside, there's a Life is Strange remastered coming out September 30th. We already knew about that. I think the more exciting news was Life is Strange True Colors, which, Liana, you kind of had the full rundown on that one.
Oh my God. I cannot express enough how excited I am for the world to have a game like this. And I said this before, and I've said this in our coverage, but the world, I feel like as a society, we just keep straying further and further from empathy and compassion and remembering that we all have our trials and we're all struggling. And Alex Chin's story, I feel like is coming at the perfect time. Quarantine really showed an uglier side. And I love the fact that they're not only making a game about empathy, but they're showing how ugly it can be sometimes. You know, they showed her her power, her like Nova power, where I'm sorry, my cat is going crazy. Where not only does she can see the different emotions, but she can actually amplify them. And that in one of the scenes was she amplified somebody whose significant other died, and she's like, I wish I was dead too. And then Alex is taking all of that into her. Like when you get hit with emotions like that, you're not prepared. So then taking somebody else's emotions and assimilating them into your own, I really, Life is Strange is a very special franchise to me. They do something that nobody else is willing to do. They're okay with sacrificing pacing to tell a truly impactful tale. They did it with Life is Strange 1. They did it with Life is Strange 2. They did it with Beyond Storm. And I think that they're really, Deck 9, we interviewed the team and they know this franchise inside and out. They know what the community wants from this franchise. They are giving us meaningful characters that people we could meet in real life, people we can see ourselves in. And one thing that I think that this game, and I think the newest trailer really highlights, is that we need to be kinder to each other, but we also need to be kinder to ourselves. You know, when she first gets these powers, she really can't stand them. She sees them as a curse. And then she starts to learn how to master them and forgive herself for having certain reactions to certain things, anger, despair, you know, the uglier side of emotions that we're not supposed to talk about. And she has to not only take her own, but other people's as well. And I think it's a message that we need to hear. It's a message that I want younger gamers to take. The message Sir Pouncelot really likes. But, you know, we be kinder to each other and be kinder to ourselves. And I think they're going to do the Life is Strange franchise good. They're going to do good by it. And I think this is, and it's not episodic. So like you can actually enjoy the game.
That's actually kind of part about that. Yeah. Cause I didn't finish Life is Strange 2 because of that. Like I love the first game Before the Storm. I enjoyed 2. I love the setup, but they really so far apart. And so like the release schedule seems so random that I just lost steam after episode 2. So when 3 came around, I just never got around to it.
I take back what I said earlier during Babylon's Fall. I'm also excited to play this game based on Liana's previews.
Too late. You already said it.
Based on Liana's previews I read in our magazine, they were very good.
Also, quick question: the scene where she's talking to like the boyfriend, she's like, "Don't snitch on me to my girl." Was his eye? Did he get punched in the face?
It looked
twice?
like it.
He did.
Someone just Superman punched him.
He did. Yeah.
Well, like,
it's
what's going on there?
It's kind of cool because it like shows the complexity because you see his pain, you feel his pain, so you want to sympathize with him, but then you find out, no, this dude's beats his girlfriend. Like, so it's like there's a complexity there. Like, what do you do at that standpoint? Because he also has pain. You know what I mean? Like, it's not black and white, and I love that. I love it.
So
well, his eyes were black and white.
His eyes.
Unbelievable. Unbelievable that you can just say things like that, Ben. Jesus.
All right. September 10th. That game's coming out September 10th. Pretty exciting, right, guys? Coming out for PlayStation 5, PlayStation 4, Xbox One, Xbox Series X, and PC.
Beautiful.
Can't wait. They ended the show on a Final Fantasy game. I know we were talking about like, hey, what's it going to be? Final Fantasy Remake Part 2? Give it to me. There was that rumor, the Final Fantasy Origins, which also sounded awesome. And it turns out they showed that Final Fantasy Origins game. It's called Stranger of Paradise, Final Fantasy Origins. And
Chaos.
It sounded cool when I read about it. The visuals, like, what would you guys make of this? I don't want to like
ugly.
I think we just laughed the whole time until the title came up, and then we were horrified.
You remember what we were talking about earlier? That fart in an Xbox?
I mean, this game could be cool. Let's just say that. Like, I hope the game is good, but that first impression, especially like hearing the rumors of what this was like, oh, they're doing a Dark Souls style remake of Final Fantasy 1. You're like, oh, wow, that's cool. I would play that. And then seeing Mr. T-shirt guy and they're like with his big sword, and I'm just like, I didn't even think this was a Final Fantasy game. I was like, okay, maybe this is like a weird like God Eater looking thing or something, or God Hand.
I was not thinking Final Fantasy Origins at all because the dude is in like a Gap T-shirt, like you said, it's just the stupidest looking outfit for like a fantasy world.
It was like Jay said in chat, like my man seriously went to Old Navy before he went to the fantasy castle.
Yeah, it's like when you show up to the Ren Fest with your friends and you're like, oh, I didn't realize we were dressing up for this. Oh,
it's like, you guys really care about this, huh? Yeah, like the combat, like it didn't even really look Soulsy. It looks more platinum-y, like kind of more fast-paced.
Hey, wait a second.
Like, I mean, not as good. It looked like someone doing stylish action, but maybe not quite to that level. At least in showing. Who knows? Again, it could be better than it looks. But yeah, like the dialogue in that trailer with every other word being chaos.
Yeah.
Like, thank God we didn't have any drinking games for that.
Apparently the demo is chaos too, because nobody can access it. It's live, but nobody can access it.
I was going to say, I'm trying to download it right now.
You can download it, and it's just an error message. It says corrupted.
Oh, it should have said chaos.
Yeah, I was going to say, it sounds like it's chaos.
Yeah, like I'm still processing what I think about this game. I think my initial feeling is disappointment. Like, this isn't quite what I envisioned that rumor being, but like, it's weird enough to like, I need to play this to see what this is. So
I don't.
Well, Team Ninja, they do what the Neo games, which I haven't played those, but I've heard good things about those in general.
Great. Yeah. Those games are great. And Ninja Gaiden before it. I mean, there's a part of me, like, now that knowing it's Team Ninja, I'm like, is this going to be the other M of Final Fantasy?
Oh, no.
Oh, God.
I mean, I'm excited to play that demo later to find out
if you can
what that is. Yeah, if I can. Yeah, it's
you should have called it Strangers of Paradise Other F. Yeah.
Like, everyone was hitting. People were hitting F in the chat.
So, oh my God!
Y'all ever read that comic book Strangers in Paradise? Real good.
No,
Gangsters Paradise.
Harry Moore or whatever. That's a good one.
That's what this is based on.
It's a classic.
No, but I forgot the name was Stranger, whatever the Final Fantasy version is, Stranger from Paradise. Anyway, and I kept seeing you all talk about it on Slack, and I was like, holy shit, they really announced it. So, that is crazy. And I Googled it.
Just to be
and
clear,
it's done by Team Ninja.
Yeah, of all developers.
So the idea, they confirmed in the trailer, right? So this takes place before Final Fantasy 1, or is it like a weird retelling of that game? I'm still not clear on that.
It's the origin story of how he earned his armor, I guess.
Chaos.
The cover of his
Chaos.
t-shirt.
Yeah, why he stopped wearing his shirt.
So t-shirt guy is the Warrior of Light from Final Fantasy 1. Is that the implication there?
Chaos.
Don't we all know
Chaos.
Chaos.
I'm an agent of chaos.
that? I don't know.
I'm sure chat will correct us, and please do politely. But like, I'm still trying to wrap my brain around the Final Fantasy 1 element of this game because of how modern it looks, I guess. If it's just
that's because Final Fantasy 1 came out in like the 80s. Yeah.
Yeah, but I mean, it has like a medieval setting, you know? Oh, okay. I get you. But I was like, if it's supposed to be like a modernized retelling of that game, then sure, that's interesting.
I think all of our reactions are very telling on how we feel about this certain thing. But who knows? Maybe if the demo ever works, it could be fun.
Yeah, we'll have to see when we actually get some hands on it. But the visually and just aesthetically did not do much for me. So
yeah,
that was the end of Square's show, though. They decided to end on that. Overall, A2, E3. What'd you guys think? What's the major highlight? You want to go around the table real quick and just what was your big takeaway? Marcus, you want to go first?
Yeah, like I said before, Playtale Requiem is the thing I'm most excited for. It came out today. Also excited for Outer Worlds 2, Slime Rancher 2, because I did like that first game quite a bit. And like various degrees, like just the general baseline excitement for stuff like Halo and stuff. I'm not the biggest Halo guy, but I will play Infinite. Square Guardians looks cool. Everything else, either I was like, what? Or just like, what? But I think I'll play that. Like morbidly curious, I guess. So Microsoft, thumbs up. Square, kind of like middle to downish.
Sure. Blake, what about you?
I feel like the two games I'm most interested in are probably Somerville and Atomic Heart. And also, I don't think I said it earlier, Battlefield 2042. I thought that looked great. I'm pretty excited to check that out.
Squad up, my guy.
Special mention to that one. And you know what?
Yeah.
I'll hold down for the Underground, Babylon's Fall. I'm gonna check it out. It looks all right. So that's my 4.
Get your boys ready. Alex, what about you?
I think this Microsoft press conference today was the best one they've had in 5 years, easily. I think the pacing was great. I think they backed almost everything up with dates, which is important. Halo has me hyped as ever. I just need to hear that date. I feel anxious until we get that date. I did just sign up for the insider program while we were recording this, though.
I wondered what you were doing because clearly it didn't seem like you were working.
Trying to get them scoops for GI. I agree. I agree with Blake. Somerville, especially knowing the talent behind it, instantly one of my most anticipated. And I think Xbox had a lot of good stuff, and I'm all in on Guardians. I am very excited to see more from it.
Hold up. Did they announce a release date for 12 minutes?
Yeah. August. August 19th.
Oh, that's my most anticipated. I take it all back.
Yeah.
I don't care about any other game anymore. Just that one.
Yeah.
I guess we blew past that one, but that one's
Also,
I'm excited for that game too.
Yeah. There's some on paper, some amazing indies that are coming out the rest of the year. Because 12 minutes, Sable has a release date now. Lake has a release date now. Tunic, it gets a demo next week. Like, this is like hitting Summer of Arcade vibes, like circa 2010. Like, I'm all in, baby. Let's go. It's a good day.
12 minutes.
Liana, what about you? Big takeaways for the day?
Halo Infinite. I am all in. Let's freaking do it. Let's go. I'm ready to be Master Chief one more time. I'm ready to pwn some noobs and multiplayer and just wreck house and arena. I'm excited. I'm really excited to learn more about Redfall. I'm cautiously optimistic. Pounce! And Halo, I think, is the most exciting for me. Halo and Redfall stole the show. Very excited about Guardians, though, because I love Marvel, grew up on Marvel. You blend it, you tell me Mass Effect, I'm sold. So I'm down. So but I'm with Alex. This was Xbox did good this year. Yeah,
this was a solid day. I'm excited. I think definitely kind of makes E3. I feel like after this, everything's kind of icing. I'm excited to see what Nintendo has and a few other companies, but I feel like I was worried going into the show, like, is there going to be anything? And I feel like we got some stuff. It feels kind of like an E3 now, even though we're not present and it's not physical, but it's starting to come back, which is nice. So great. Thanks everybody for watching and listening to our recap of E3 Day 2. Come back tomorrow. We'll have a recap for you of Day 3. That's how days work.
Usually are.
This has been fun, guys. Thanks for watching again. We'll see you next time.
Bye.